If you are a holder of any unclaimed financial assets, surrender all unclaimed financial assets in your possession to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority UFAA today without having to pay interest or penalties. Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't need
Good evening, I am Fayazz Qureshi with the Legends Edition on KBC Channel 1. In tonight's edition of The Living Legends, we speak to Zahra Bano Jan Muhammad, a woman who has broken the glass ceiling throughout her legal career. Stay with us.
Dawa ya njaa ni mkulima apate msaada, azalishe chakula ipatikane kwa wingi.
President William Ruto rules out the return of the maize flour subsidy. Another fire at Gikomba market, 6,000 traders count losses. MPs plan to amend the constitution to anchor the National Government Constituency Development Fund into law. Kenya's Diana Kipyoke is set to be stripped of the Boston Marathon title after she was provisionally suspended in a doping case. Welcome back. Our sign language interpreter for tonight's bulletin is Byron Abuli. Now heading to the top story for tonight's edition. President William Ruto has ruled out the return of the maize flour subsidy. The president, who was speaking in Kirinyaga during the commissioning of the 15 million cubic meters capacity FIBA dam, says his administration will instead subsidize fertilizer and other farm inputs to increase production and end Kenya's perennial problem of food insecurity.
In recent days, President William Ruto has been under pressure to make good his promise of bringing down the cost of unga that remains unaffordable to most families in the country. The opposition led by ODM leader Raila Odinga has faulted the president for his decision to remove the unga subsidy introduced by the previous administration. The president, however, insists that the subsidy was unsustainable.
Mimi nataka niwaulize wale ndugu zetu ambao wanafikiria ya kwamba tutaenda ile barabara walienda. Si walijaribu kutuambia ya kwamba tufanye subsidy ya unga. Wakatumia bilioni 8 kwa mwezi mmoja. Na unga haikufika. Mlipata unga ya dunia. Sasa wanataka kuturudisha huko.
The president, who spoke during the commissioning of FIBA Dam, a 15 million cubic meters capacity dam, meant to increase rice production in Kirinyaga County by another 10,000 acres, reiterated his government's new approach geared towards subsidizing production instead of consumption.
Sisi tunajua vile ya kupanga mahela. Sisi sio kama nyinyi. Nyinyi mlitumia bilioni 8 mwezi mmoja kusubsidize unga ambaye haikufikia mwananchi. Sisi tutatumia hiyo bilioni 8 yenu kusubsidize magunia milioni 6 ya kusaidia wakulima watuzalishie chakula ndio tuweze kupunguza gharama ya chakula. So our competitors must know that we have a different approach.
President Ruto accused his critics of being behind the mess that saw the cost of a 2 kg packet of maize flour hit 230 shillings.
It is a world of difference, and we are going to teach them agricultural economics. Wao ndio wametusukuma kwa miaka 4 mpaka unga ikatoka shilingi 100 mpaka ikafika 230. And it's a process of 4 years. Kwa sababu walikwamisha kwanza mambo ya mbolea.
Unaongea vizuri sana. Na hiyo ndio kazi yako ya kukosoa sisi. Kama ulifanya hiyo kazi ya kukosoa serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta, hatungefika hapa tuko. You abandoned your duty to oversight government. Serikali ikaporwa na wewe na watu yako mkaingia kwa uporaji.
The solution to getting cheaper food is increasing productivity, and we will be able to increase productivity by moving away from rain-fed agriculture to irrigation, as you are doing here today.
With the government targeting to put 200,000 acres under irrigation, the president says he is confident that Kenya can produce sufficient food for consumption instead of importing due to production shortages.
Kwa sababu ni aibu sana katika karne ya 21, miaka 50 karibu 60 baada ya sisi kuwa taifa huru bado tunalala njaa. That is the shame of a nation that doesn't have a plan on how to grow its food.
John Jacob Curia, The Legends Edition.
Over 6,000 traders from Gikomba open-air markets are counting losses estimated at millions of shillings after a fire razed their stores. The market's chairman, Kimanthi Mutisia, is now seeking audience with the government with a view of finding a permanent solution to the incidents of fire that he says have stunted growth of their businesses. And as Ruth Wambui reports, the traders have termed the incident an act of arson, noting there are people who are determined to drive them away from the market.
In recent days, President William Ruto has been under pressure to make good his promise of bringing down the cost of unga that remains unaffordable to most families in the country. The opposition led by ODM leader Raila Odinga has faulted the president for his decision to remove the unga subsidy introduced by the previous administration. The president, however, insists that the subsidy was unsustainable.
Mimi nataka niwaulize wale ndugu zetu ambao wanafikiria ya kwamba tutaenda ile barabara.
We'll be back in a short while with that story again. President William Ruto now says his government will continue to invest heavily in agriculture to ensure the country is food secure. Speaking after commissioning the 7.8 billion shillings Thiba Dam in Kirinyaga County, the head of state lauded the government of Japan for playing a key role in the success of the project by releasing a 5.33 billion shilling loan to fund the project.
It is a sigh of relief for farmers in Kirinyaga County after President William Ruto commissioned the Thiba Dam constructed at a cost of 7.8 million shillings dam. The president said the dam will go a long way in enhancing operations at Mwea irrigation scheme.
Na hii maji itaweza kutusaidia wakati wa kiangazi ndio tuweze kuzalisha mpunga katika sehemu hii, na vile vile wale wanaendelea na mpunga saa hizi na wale ambao wataongezea ardhi karibu kilomita 10,000, sasa tutakuwa na ardhi 35,000 ekari ambazo zitatumika katika kuzalisha mpunga hapa Mwea.
Area Governor Anne Waiguru said the dam will also support double cropping, putting 70,000 acres under irrigation in a year.
Damu hii itatuwezesha kama watu wa Kirinyaga kuongeza ukulima wa mchele ama vile Waswahili wanasema mpunga, kuongeza eka 10,000 kutoka 25,000 kwenda 35,000, from 25,000 acres to 35,000 acres, and we're very grateful.
The water, which is drawn from rivers Nyamindi and Thiba, will also serve the neighboring counties of Tharaka Nithi, Embu and Meru.
Tuko na damu ya Koshi ambayo imeshika pande ya Tharaka Nithi na pande ya Embu. And that is why Maziwa and Mudomi are here today. To remind you that there's an important dam kule Embu ambayo itakuhitaji.
The project, which was flagged off in November 2018, will also create an additional 50,000 jobs, leading to a cumulative 175 jobs in a year. The president has also promised to ensure farmers get the TSP fertilizer to boost their yields.
And I want to say to all the farmers, sisi tutashirikiana pamoja na nyinyi ili hii damu ifaidi wakulima wa hapa, iongeze mazao ya mpunga na vile vile iongeze pesa ambayo itapatikana hapa Mwea.
The president lauded the government of Japan for a 5.3 billion shillings loan to fund the project.
Ni washukuru wale wote waliohusika na hasa serikali ya Japan na shirika la JICA. To say on behalf of the government and people of Kenya, to the government and people of Japan, our gratitude for the support and the partnership that has made it possible for us to construct this dam that is going to increase water for our farmers and bring on board an extra 10,000 acres under rice irrigation.
In a bid to increase food production and deal with climate change, the head of state said his government will facilitate the planting of 5 billion trees, even as he urged Kenyans to plant at least 100 trees each. Timothy Kipnusu for Legends Edition.
We'll now go back to the Gikomba fire story. Over 6,000 traders from Gikomba open-air market are counting losses estimated at millions of shillings after a fire razed their stores. The market's chairman, Kimathi Mutisia, is now seeking audience with the government with the view of finding a permanent solution to the incidents of fire that he says have stunted growth of their businesses. And as Ruth Wambui reports, the traders have termed the incident an act of arson, noting there are people who are determined to drive them away from the market.
These were the scenes at Gikomba Open Air Market Saturday. The market, which started in 1982, has fed hundreds of thousands of families for over 3 decades now. These small-scale traders who depend on this market for their survival in the city were in disbelief as they were not able to salvage anything after the fire.
Kwa hivyo tugeomba this time, kwa sababu sisi tuliingia na tukasema sisi ni hustler. Tuna hustle kulea watoto wetu. Kwa hivyo tugeomba tuwekewe maji kwa soko na jambo lingine tuwekewe security ya kutosha.
Unapata ni kama wanachukua kwanza hiyo mzigo kwanza, alafu wanachoma. Unaona? Ukiangalia kama saa hizi ile nguo zote ulala huko. Hakuna jifu unaona. Hata useme hata hizo nguo zilishomeka.
And with the state of the current economy, as small-scale traders in Gikomba market continue experiencing losses year in, year out, the traders are calling for a lasting solution from the government, claiming their earlier pleas with the then Nairobi Metropolitan Services were not addressed.
Tunaomba tu serikali penye iko. Serikali ya mahasola. Walituambia serikali ya mahasola. Hapana, hii si serikali ya mahasola. Tokeni bwana, hatujaona hata Sakaja. Sakaja alikuwa anakuja hapa. Anasema, nipigieni kura. Where is Sakaja? Ako wapi?
Hizi manguo ziko bei ghali sana. Belo moja ni 40,000. Nafungua mbili, 8,000. Kwa sababu hiyo kuna jirani. Na jioni tunaweka mahali pamoja yote. Sasa inakuwa hasa ikichomeka ni hasara kubwa sana.
They have at the same time called on the government to fast-track the Hustler Fund election pledge, which will help their businesses to stay afloat.
Mimi naomba serikali yenye tumechagua ya mahasla tushikane tu tufensi Gikomba, ikuwe na tuweke kamera CCTV, tukuwe na issue ya moto ikichomeka, badala ya kusema uchunguzi inafanyika, tuwe tunajua moto ilitoka wapi na inaletwa na nani.
Ikiwa inaweza kutusupport kwa ujenzi itusupport, ikiwa inaweza kutusupport kwa fedha, kwa sababu hata sasa tukitumaliza kujenga hizo viwanja hatuna pesa ya kuendesha kazi.
The cause of the fire, which started Friday night, has not been established. Reporting for Legends edition from Gashosho Market, Gikomba in the county of Nairobi, I'm Ruth Wamboy.
President William Ruto has appointed Head of Internal Affairs Unit Muhammad Amin as the new Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss. Amin replaces George Kinoti, who resigned last month. Through a special Gazette notice dated Friday, October 14th, Ruto directed Amin to assume his new role with immediate effect.
Mohamed Amin Ibrahim is the new Directorate of Criminal Investigations boss. In a Gazette notice dated Friday, October 14th, the head of state named Amin as the new DCI director after a successful interview. Until his appointment, Amin Ibrahim was the head of Internal Affairs Unit at the National Police Service. Amin, who was the first candidate to be vetted by the National Police Commission on Tuesday, expressed confidence that he would take over the leadership of the Criminal Investigations Agency. Others who were interviewed were Esther Chepkoskei Serone, who is currently the Bomet Police Commander, Dr. Simon Mwangi Wanderi, Eliud Lagat, who is currently the Director of Reforms at DCI, and Nicholas Ireri Kamwende, who is currently the Director of Planning at DCI. Also interviewed were Bernard Baraza Walumoli, a criminal investigation officer in the Coast Region, David Birech, who is currently the head of police reforms, Paul Jimmy Ndambuki, who works at the International Police Headquarters in France, Jonyo Michael Wiso, the former head of legal services at DCI, and Gideon Nyale Munga, who is currently the principal assistant to the Inspector General of Police.
A section of lawmakers has kicked off plans to amend the constitution to anchor the National Government Constituency Development Fund into law through a parliamentary initiative. The move coming after the President, in his inaugural speech to Parliament, urged MPs to protect the fund, is aimed at shielding the constituency fund from legal disruptions after the Supreme Court declared CDF illegal in September this year. If the bill is passed by Parliament, CDF allocation could be doubled from the current 44 billion shillings to 88 billion shillings annually.
The Supreme Court ruling about 2 months ago that declared the National Constituency Development Fund illegal, arguing that the kitty offends the division of functions between the national and the county governments, did not go well with legislators. In separate bills, Matungulu Member of Parliament Stephen Mule and his Gishugu counterpart Robert Gishimu want the National Government Constituency Development Fund entrenched in the Constitution.
We treat and consider all matters that shall...
In the memorandum, the bills also seek to increase the current CDF allocation from 2.5 to 5% of the country's annual revenue collected. That would see the allocation double from the current 44 billion shillings to 88 billion shillings every financial year.
With this issue whereby judiciary just does what they want, declares things unconstitutional, drop cases the way they want, and puts the entire country into jeopardy. But I think as a legislator, I believe that for me, I've done my duty of representation and making the law whereby we'll be amending the Constitution to make sure that those funds will never be subjected to any judicial procedure anymore in the future.
The MPs also want Article 204 of the Constitution amended to entrench the National Government Affirmative Action Fund.
Hii kite haisaidii wanasiasa kama watu wengi huwa wanataka kulenga hili jambo. Lakini hili jambo ni kwamba hizi fedha huwa zinasaidia mwananchi.
In any one financial year, we were distributing 33 million shillings worth of bursaries. Where would I get that money? So when the Kenyans say that CDF does not have to be given to members of parliament, it is not MPs who suffer, it is Kenyans.
They also want the establishment of two funds, the Senate Oversight Fund for Senators and the Economic Stimulus and Empowerment Fund. So far, over 300 signatures in support of the bill have been collected, way above the required 233, which is usually the 2/3 of the House membership.
Rais alisema tunahitaji kuweka mambo ya CDF katika constitution. Tunataka hiyo kazi ifanyike. Na sisi tutapitisha hiyo mara moja. Mimi ninajua saa hii tumechukua signatures na tumeweka petition katika parliament ili tuweze kupitisha na kukuja katika kila sehemu ambayo tunawakilisha.
Unless you've traveled and seen what CDF has done, that's when you can say let it be banned. But I'm in support with the 8 being reinstated so that we can still give our communities the services.
And as per the norm, the bill will undergo public participation at the committee stage before it is debated at the second stage on the floor. For Legends Edition, I'm Gladys Mongai.
And now we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a short while. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
To get Change Your Thinking Skiza tune, dial star 811 star 961 hash.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
The world's biggest sporting event is here with us. The FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. KBC Television will air live 28 selected matches, while radio will beam live all the 64 matches. We would like to bring to the attention of the public that KBC is the only station that has exclusive 2022 FIFA World Cup free-to-air FTA broadcast rights for both TV and radio in the Kenya territory, and no other media outlet. Therefore, catch all the FIFA World Cup action live and exclusive on KBC TV and radio. KBC is indeed your true sports partner.
Welcome back. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union has called upon the government to streamline public healthcare system in the country. KMPDU's Secretary General Dr. Davji Bimji said healthcare is expensive and inaccessible to a majority of Kenyans, leading to loss of lives.
The death of a 2-year-old boy at Kenyatta National Hospital after allegedly waiting for 2 days to receive proper medical care for a fork jembe lodged in his skull brought into focus the capacity of health facilities to deal with medical emergencies. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union says there is need to streamline public health system in the country.
If the Kiambu County was responsible, then ideally it should have had the staff, the facility and the equipment to handle this case. So then we have many of these cases in the country that ought to be handled by the county governments in different parts based on the staffing norms of level 5. But we have seen that many of these hospitals are just fabrics, white elephants that are named level 5s but are not able to offer the services that they ought to offer.
According to the victim's mother, the hospital had asked for at least 20,000 shillings for treatment to the boy.
The child had already bled too much, and once you bleed in a topical trauma, that is in surgery, I'm a general surgeon by profession, is that your coagulation or blood clotting system becomes compromised. And hence, any attempt at cutting you or doing surgery on you will actually, yes, kill you. They had to do the management. Management does not just involve surgery.
KMPDU is further seeking the implementation of universal health coverage to accord every citizen access to quality medical care.
Tukue na Health Service Commission ambayo itakuwa kuna usawa katika kaunti zote, ambao tukisema level 5, katika level 5 kutakuwa na madaktari ambao wanafaa. Tukisema Kilifi itakuwa na madaktari ambao wanafaa. Ili tusiwe na ile point ya ku point fingers.
The union also wants the government to invest in skilled personnel in the health sector.
Hundreds of Kajiado County residents living in satellite towns are currently facing starvation that has affected their livelihood, with the number of starving masses increasing daily due to the economic hardships the country is currently facing. This as food distribution exercises continue across the country to alleviate the suffering of starving Kenyans across the country.
In Kajiado North constituency, the aged and the disabled say they are having a hard time putting food on the table due to the current tough economic times. They are now calling on both the national and county governments to increase the relief food rations in the urban centers and ensure transparency in its distribution.
So we have a number of people who will benefit, the elderly, the people who are living with disability, and those ones who are even sickly, that are well known. And through our community policing in the sub-county, we've been able to positively identify them, and therefore it is strategic distribution of food. It is not wholesome. We are doing this because of what is available. But we know there's a crisis, but we're asking them, because of our population, we would want them to walk along with us and give us more food for now, because we have an urgent issue, especially in our informal settlements in Kajiado North constituency.
In Turkana County, the Salvation Army Church has officially launched an exercise to distribute food to 59 schools affected by hunger in North Turkana County.
I appeal to all stakeholders, including our government and the other non-governmental organizations, to come up and assist our children in need in most of the schools which are badly affected here in Turkana.
Elsewhere, the Second Lady Dorcas Gachagua has appealed to both local and international organizations to help alleviate the suffering of Kenyans by donating food and non-food items to drought-stricken Kenyans.
So we must respect and dignify our people and make sure none of them will die of hunger. Those who have, I believe every one of us has something. If you can contribute to the kitty of family relief, of famine relief, whether it is 10 shillings, 100 shillings, in whatever way, you will be saving a life.
Meanwhile, as the world plans to celebrate the World Food Day, Food Banking Kenya, in conjunction with Chandarana Food Plus, donated food including flour, which will be distributed in Kajiado to the vulnerable people in the region.
We will be celebrating the World Food Day in Kajiado, Elliot area, and we have over 600 families that will benefit from the maize flour and other items that we have received from Chandarana Food Plus. Each and every Kenyan to start donating and giving out food items and even in other in-kind donations.
Colin Shadrack for Legends Edition.
Scientists in the agricultural biotechnology arena have called for depoliticization of the genetically modified organisms GMO debate if Kenya is to reap the benefits of the technology and enhance food security. They urge those opposed to the lifting of the ban on GMOs to appreciate the benefits countries that embrace the technology have enjoyed for the last 25 years.
These were the scenes during the opening forum for Agricultural Biotechnology Media Award ceremony to honor journalists in the country who have excelled in reportage on agricultural biotechnology. But coming at a time when the government's lifting on the ban of GMO has met resistance from various fronts, the proponents of GMO says the opportunity to put the record straight. Dr. Margaret Karembu, the Director of International Service for Acquisition of Agri-Biotech Applications, ISA, said science behind GMO is based on empirical, analytical, and critical research and has been proven to be safe.
And the decision has been made that the technology is safe
that Kenya has the institutional mechanism and the policy and legislative structures to manage this technology responsibly and safely.
She said GMOs should not be politicized.
Scientific evidence is a methodological process and it goes through rigorous peer review. And when you come and balance a scientific fact with an opinion, then we cannot call that a balance.
Sentiments were echoed by Gerald Masila, Executive Director, East Africa Grain Council, saying that genetic modification has been employed in more than 70 countries globally to address challenges in agricultural production.
It's not new. We already have the Biosafety Authority in place. We already have biotechnology cotton being produced in this country. And even before that ban that was placed in 2012, we previously were importing GM soya for feed. And so if you consumed foods before 2012 that had feed that had been processed and fed into the dairy cattle or the chicken or whatever, if you consumed by that time, then you have already consumed GMO. And we still see you around, I think, or we don't.
The recent lifting on the ban of importation of GMO seeds has sparked a heated conversation. And now Kenyans who are pro the ban are saying it's time to embrace change. Frederick Farsayo for Legends Edition, Serena Hotel, Nairobi.
Vihiga County Governor Dr. Wilbur Otichilo has sparked panic among his staff at the county headquarters after he reportedly fired the entire team of CECs and named new members. Otichilo said the names of the new team shall be forwarded to Vihiga County Assembly for vetting. Elsewhere, SME players have urged government to inject funds in the sector to give it the impetus it needs to thrive. These and more stories in our county news roundup.
We begin with Vihiga County, where the county government staff are in shock after Governor Wilbur Otichilo fired all the members of the county executive committees and nominated a new team whose names are set to be forwarded to the Vihiga County Assembly. Otichilo has also urged members of the public who might be having issues with the nominees to forward their complaints to the county clerk for scrutiny. Elsewhere, a man, David Njoroge Karega, has been charged at Madaraka Law Court for assaulting Beatrice Nyokabi and causing bodily harm contrary to Section 251 of the Penal Code on October 8th. Nyokabi is said to have been pushed and fell down, causing injury on her knee and dislocated her thumb due to the impact of the fall. Njoroge has been released on a cash bill of 50,000 Kenyan shillings. In Kakamega, the Korea International Cooperation Agency, under its flagship fellowship program, has implemented the first phase of its Youth and Women Empowerment Program, which aims at improving the quality of TVET education in Kenya.
You have to make sure that each students are given enough opportunity to practice and also getting ongoing assessment and feedback.
By using this job analysis result, they can develop their own training curriculum. By using this training curriculum, the training institutions can teach the trainees real competency of the workers in industries.
Meanwhile, small and medium enterprise owners have reiterated the need for accessible and affordable working capital to boost growth for their businesses. Speaking during the rebranding of Karibu Kenya Ventures Limited Microfinance to Incredo, officials called for public-private partnership to boost small-medium enterprises.
The inflation is high, so what has happened is that most of the SMEs are closing shop. They are closing shop because cost of living has gone up. They are not able to make margin.
The government, in cooperation with all the partners, can come in hand and support the SMEs. I think that is the future, and that is where we're headed as the youth.
In Nairobi, over 200 students of Hospital Hill High School have a reason to smile after a new modern dormitory worth 40 million Kenya shillings was commissioned by Area Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi. Speaking at the school, the third-time Member of Parliament urged learners to maintain a high level of discipline during their studies.
And we must invest heavily in education. And once we invest in education, we'll be investing in future. Let us do our best when you are here. Don't waste your time. I know very well that you have been working under a very harsh environment, but now we are making it better for you, and we are going to make it even much better.
Finally, at least 500 Kisumu residents have benefited from free cancer screening medical camps separately organized by St. Jairus Hospital and Aga Khan Hospital. Medics at the two facilities urged Kenyans to normalize monthly screening for early detection and treatment of various cancer types.
Normally take this camp to be able to understand the kind of challenges and also to identify the key diseases that affect this community.
Screening is the most important because screening one is aiming at detecting the disease when it is still in the early stage, and it is curable by surgery and other combination treatment modality like chemotherapy, radiotherapy.
Trevor Ngendo for Legends Edition.
Is there anything like food addiction? Does it really exist?
Yes, there is something called food addiction, and especially by definition, sugar addiction.
But what is it about these foods that make it addictive?
If you seek medical attention or you realize, do I have symptoms of a certain, am I compelled to eat a certain type of food? Do I feel good or rewarded? Do I feel good just by eating a certain type of food? And within no months, within no years, you find yourself now you are obsessed and you're compelled to eat this certain food in certain temperatures for some people and in such a certain situation for you to feel much better or to feel good with yourself.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again.
2022 Ballon d'Or winners are set to be revealed on Monday at Theatre du Châtelet, Paris, France. Who will carry home football's most coveted individual trophy? Watch Ballon d'Or award ceremony as it unveils the winners from 8:50 p.m. live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Good evening, and once again it's a big welcome to the sports segment of the Legends Edition this Saturday evening. I'm Topi Liambila with your news. In the highlights tonight, we've got the doping menace stalks Kenyan athletes, swimming gala, hockey, and the World Cup news at the behest. Now, Kenya's Diana Kipyoke is said to be stripped of the Boston Marathon title after she was provisionally suspended in a doping case. Kipyoke and another Kenyan distance runner, Betty Wilson-Lempus, were banned by the Athletics Integrity Unit, which handles doping cases in track and field. The duo tested positive last year for the same banned substance, metabolites of triamcinolone acetonide, and faces charges of possible tampering with the doping control process. Kipyoke's positive test came at the Boston Marathon that she won last October. Both the Athletes Integrity Unit and the Boston Athletic Association said she will be stripped of her title should her case not be overturned on appeal. 10 Kenyan athletes tested positive of the triamcinolone acetonide in the last 2 years.
Now, Skoda Fabia Rally 2 driver Raj Barij has finally raked in his maiden Kenya National Rally Championship victory following brilliant displays on MMC Bamba Rally, which culminated at the Mweza Moyo School in Kilifi County. Barij led from start to finish, winning all the 6 stages at stake in the Mombasa Motor Club MMC organized round of the National Series. He beat Mitsubishi Lance Evolution ex-driver Jasmine Chana to second by a massive 10.57 minutes margin, while Mombasa youngster Abdul Kadir Tamal crowned his KNRC debut with a maiden career podium third, contrary to all expectations. It was a welcome relief for Barij, who had won the prestigious Nanyuki Rally Group NRG leg last month, only to be disqualified for failing to report and at the Control 6B at the end of the event in breach of Article 24.2 of the National Competition Rules of Kenya Motorsport Federation, KMSF. The disqualification in Nanyuki saw Karan Patel being awarded the win. The demanding Bamba terrain claimed 6 cars, with Karan exiting in the fast speed test, the first run of the 38-kilometer KWFT section. Let's have a look. Now, Inspired handball team lost their 8th match of the season after going down 40-37 to University of Eldoret Pipers in a league match played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Bandari swim.
For the 6th time this season, Inspired failed to collect a point after suffering a narrow defeat at the hands of University of Eldoret Pipers. Brian Baraza was the best scorer for the losers, managing to find the net 17 times in the game that was evenly poised in both halves. Daniel Ombasa netted 12 times to guide the Pipers to victory, despite failing to dominate the encounter. Nehemiah Kipkosgei contributed 9 goals for the winners, with Justice Maragia scoring 7. Going into the match, Inspired was sitting in 13th position, above their opponents who were at position 15. In other matches played today, Rangers thrashed the Star 49-11, while Jesu lost 35-20 to Rangers. For Legends Edition, I'm Sela Onyango.
Bandari Swimming Club and Aga Khan Academy continued with their dominance of the coast swimming events after emerging victorious to the coast mixed level short course and relays gala at the Aga Khan Academy. The 3-day meet that is expected to end tomorrow is being used by the swimmers to hit the qualifying standards for the Kana Zone 3 Championship slated for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania from November 17 to the 23rd.
In the relays, Bandari Swimming Club under the tutelage of national coach Fakri Mansour dominated, while Aga Khan Academy Mombasa Aquatic under coach Abdul Malik extended their close and exciting rivalry with Nairobi swimmers in individual races. Bandari's team of Khadija Kwelud, Jasmine Ikegu, Dalia Shigoli and Amina Sheikh teamed up to win the girls 10 and 11 years 400 meters freestyle relay. The club went ahead to win the boys 8 and 9 years 400 meters freestyle relay, courtesy of Vihan Majitia, Rohan Patel, Makaz Gasharamu and Hital Shah. In individual performances, Tugi Mwege of Mombasa Aquatic won the girls 14 and 15 years 1500 meters freestyle race, with Rising Star Lubaina Islam of the same club winning the girls 16 years and over 1500 meters freestyle. Nairobi's Otter Swimming Club won the top 2 positions in the girls 12 and 13 years 100 meters individual medley through Nadia Faisal and Isabel Mwangi, who finished first and second respectively.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup will get underway in Qatar on the 20th of next month, and African teams are determined to lift the World Cup for the first time in history. Cameroon, Morocco, Tunisia, Ghana and Senegal will represent the continent in the first ever November-December World Cup. Football fans across the country have expressed diverse opinions regarding the prospects of the African teams performing well in the global event.
Cameroon is a very good team which is diverse, and it has a very good history in football. They have legends like Rigobert Song and Samuel Eto'o, who is now the current president of the Cameroon Football Federation. Cameroon has also nice players who shine in the European leagues, like Andre Onana, who plays for Inter Milan.
I'm going to support one Senegal, because Senegal is one of the teams in the sub-Saharan Africa, and being a Pan-Africanist, I want to embrace that spirit of Pan-Africanism and support Senegal as my team.
I'll support Ghana because they have a nice strategy when playing. Their defense is normally so organized and their players have a good...
Just remember that KBC Channel 1 will be broadcasting live all the matches here. So stay tuned, as KBC Channel 1 is your true sports partner. In 36 days' time, we'll be with you. Now, on the international scene, Leicester City were unable to ease the pressure on manager Brendan Rodgers as they were held to a frustrating goalless draw by Crystal Palace at the King Power Stadium. James Maddison went close on